Hey guys, hey, hey girl, hey. Happy New Year. I am so excited to be here with you in, as my friend says, the 2026 of things. If you don't know me, I'm Olivia Denson Thomas, the brand counselor, helping you go from hustling to wholeness with brand strategy. And I am pumped. So I'm going to be very honest with you, right? So, for a lot of founders, high trust founders like myself, but especially those who are in like finance, law, medicine, other areas, there's kind of a version of business where you tend to stay behind the scenes. You tend to stay behind the scenes, and the work you do is actually very excellent. Um, and it keeps your anchor clients really happy, right? And I get that. I, as a consultant, I, as a lot of things to a lot of people who, I'm working through what it means to be me, not just as like an individual, but as a business owner. Um, I feel that way, right? Because sometimes it feels like doing the excellent work should be enough. And I hear that a lot of the time from like overly educated, highly educated Black women who like, because, we love to get a degree. Um, the excellence, it feels like it should carry us, right? Um, but generally speaking, the version of business that we're talking about when it's just like excellence based, it doesn't really build the life or the legacy that we're like really built for or built to carry. So I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about how we go beyond the work and move into a place where we are doing we're translating our excellence. So, the reason we want to translate our excellence is for two reasons. Number one, we want to make sure that we are consistently telling people who we are, what we do, what we bring to the table, and why we are like special specifically for them. Number two, a lot of the time, it's very hard for us to give our work to other people and let other people carry the load for us because we think that we're the only ones who can really do the things. Um, and of course, it originates from you, but it shouldn't stay with you. So, um, we're going to talk about what it means doing well enough, but making sure that it's clear and that it's good and honorable and doing things that matter, but in a way where we can actually communicate it to other people. So I really want to be abundantly clear when I say this, right? Excellence that can't be seen or translated leaves you fragile in the long run. Right. So, what happens is the economy shifts and budgets tighten and referrals slow down. Um, and you kinda start to wonder if you're good at what you do, but that's not really the question at hand. The question is your value translated? Is your heart translated? Is your mind translated? And are you doing those things in a way that can stabilize, your business and translate to other people what's inside of you, right? I think we oftentimes separate our business from our, like, humanity because that's what the culture of business has been historically, but that's not really where, growth or sustainability, really lies. So, we wanna be able to trust the judgment, um, of other people. We wanna be able to make sure that we are inviting in the right people, and it's really about visibility, right? And I think sometimes when I say visibility, people think attention. But it's really about continuity, being able to transfer what's inside of you to other people, right? So when other people can catch your vibe, or when your clients, sorry, not your clients, when your employees and other stakeholders can like get in on the vision and really carry it out as well. You shouldn't be the only person carrying your business. As a founder, it starts with you, but it should never end with you. And you're not struggling because you're incapable or you lack skills or credibility. Um, everything's just in here. Everything's just in here. So we need to talk about what it looks like to kind of take those first steps in getting it out. Um, getting it out so you don't have a fragile system. Um, and so you're really doing the things that you're supposed to do. So this year, me personally, I'm actually committing to something different myself. I'm committed to more long form conversations and really thinking outside of myself and where the information can live. And I'm inviting you to do the same. I know it can feel like tedium, but it's actually really important because it's not just translating like business values, it's also translating the mindset behind the choices that you make. So other people can make those choices like with and for you as well, right? Like letting your work speak when you're not in the room. It's really important. So here are the things that I kind of think about when I'm thinking about what's important. And these are things that I tell clients. I just did a facilitation the other day and we really sat with this with each department head, how they really take ownership and communicate what's necessary to people who are under them, but also from the CEO to them and really taking ownership of their specific departments. So I say everyone's a CEO, right? And when I say CEO, for me, that means calling, endurance, and obedience. So, calling is the work that makes you feel like you are alive and not just living, right? It's easy to survive, it's easy to hustle. And when I say easy, I mean, you can exist that way on autopilot without really thinking about it, without doing any introspection. And it's acceptable, it's normal. People do it all the time. You're surviving, you're living, you're hustling, you're bringing in income, and it feels like it should be enough because it's doing the thing that people understand as victorious, right? This is success. Success is the money. Um, but there's still more potential for growth. And it is not about your direct effort. It's about really connecting with people who should know you. Um, Not necessarily for what you do, but for who you are and, like, your mission, right? So, everyone has a calling. Everyone has a calling, but people generally don't get quiet long enough to hear it, um, and consider it normal for themselves. I think sometimes we hear these things about ourselves in our own mind and we kind of push it to the side because it doesn't play into the narrative that is around us. But in reality, right, we're not meant to come into industries and sit in them as participants. We're always supposed to grow in our ability to be leaders and then create more leaders behind us. And the only way we can do that is through the introspection of figuring out your calling and translating that into your mission. So, having your understanding of your calling is really, what it looks like to get quiet and hear what you're supposed to bring to the world in general. I don't think this is really a business thing. I think it impacts business, but I think it actually starts with yourself personally and it makes your business so much better. So you have to hear what your mission is, the steps you're supposed to take every day to make this life better, to make this life more fulfilling. So after you have an understanding of your calling, then there's endurance, right? So endurance is the capacity to stay with the calling long enough to actually see compounding, right? So oftentimes we can get to the calling. We know that there's something that we need to be doing, but the capacity to actually do something different, the capacity to actually like build the tolerance for the discomfort of the growth and even the rejection that might come with doing your own thing, right? One of the things I tell people is that branding is not just about attraction, it's also about repulsion. When you exist in a way that is your way, some people are going to be repelled. Some people that you might have thought were stable and staples, they might actually be repelled when you operate in your calling, right? So you have to build capacity for that. You have to build your ability to endure what it feels like to do something different and maybe, I'm not saying this is going to happen, right? But maybe um be looked at differently by people that you thought were your people, right? One of the things about not playing small is that you're no longer relatable to a lot of people that you were previously relatable to, right? Like when you get a little bit bigger, your whole outlook is different. The things that you talk about are different. The things that you like welcome into your circle are different because they have to be, right? Even that is a change where you have to begin learning how to endure not doing what you would normally do in a circumstance where something pops up, right? So you have to figure out a different way of being, and that requires a ton of capacity shifts and just like the ability to open your endurance, right? So now the last thing is obedience. Your calling is not a conference call. I know I know sometimes it feels like you want consensus. Sometimes it feels like you want, your gaggle of advisors to agree with you, right? And sometimes they just won't. And you have to move with the calling and stay aligned because it's meant for you to build it. It's meant for other people to experience it. And sometimes they can't see it until they see it in like a tangible kind of way. So you might want to reference other people. There might not be a reference. Sometimes it's really just for you to be obedient and keep moving as if the calling is for you because it absolutely is. It absolutely is for you, right? So as you're able to communicate that, as you're able to translate that alignment, as you're able to bring these things to life, you get to introduce this energy, right? You get to introduce this energy to the world that is obviously based in words and it's based in values and it's based in your mission. Um, but it's something people can feel, right? Generally, people move with their emotions. So you get to introduce people to the emotion of being connected to you. And that is very strong marketing. But the only way you can do that is to consistently show up, calling, endurance, obedience. And the same thing for people who work for you and with you, right? Like you attract them because of your behaviors, calling, endurance, obedience. All of that alignment actually creates like better leadership that creates better leaders. You want that leadership transfer, but you can only transfer it if you are living in alignment, embodiment of this thing, um, that's real, right? Like, just this idea of what, institutional memory, right? So as the founder, you're creating the foundations of a thing, but you're trying to create an institution. It lives in you, and the only way you can convey it to people, this institutional memory, is if you do it. Like, you just have to live it. And people can catch it. But you only get that if you are committed to living it. Um, and that's how you choose to distribute trust. That's how you invite people to trust you instead of feeling like you have to hide and hoard this idea of your true self behind your excellence, behind your work, right? Isn't it funny how that can be the thing? Like instead of being accepted and known um and really remembered for the things that are very real about you and very inspired about you, so often people opt for what is already like standardly understood. But you're not here to be standard. You're here to be new. You're here to build new pathways that people haven't been able to explore until you existed, right? And don't rob other people of that. But more importantly, don't rob yourself of that. So really, visibility, it's not about ego. It's about stewardship of something that's bigger than you, and that becomes profitable, right? Because when the right people know that you exist as you are, they come to you. when they know that you're not just a problem solver, but you're someone that resonates with them, they will come to you, and it'll be a lot easier to sell and convert clients through the positioning of your calling, right? And I mean, obviously there's a little more to it. Like you create a category out of these things, right? So you can convey it properly, you talk about their issues, you market it, but it really does start foundationally with the calling, the endurance, and the obedience. So this year, I am choosing stewardship. I am choosing to do so out loud, to be the CEO, um, in this instance, and I truly am inviting you to do the same thing with me. I hope this was helpful. I hope as a high trust founder who is in, the legal field, the medical field, in real estate and finance, right? So these industries where people really rely on you to give them the truth, and you rely on them to also tell you the truth so that you can be the best service provider you can be. Like, I am really hoping that we can break down the walls and create like a better way for people to be served and for us to be fulfilled in our calling as well. I am so excited to be here with you. First video of this year, and yeah, like we're in here, There is a little, I don't know. There's a little apprehension in the visibility sometimes, but I believe in this work and I'm believing in you. Like, I think you're awesome and I don't want to rob you of what you might need to know. And that's a very real thing. All right, friends, I will talk to you later. Have a great night. Keep flourishing and stay intentional.